So excited to be here with you this Monday morning. What did you do this weekend? Did you have fun this weekend? Did you watch? Did your team win from a NFL football standpoint? Did your team lose? How did that go? There's a lot of heartbreak up in Buffalo. Where a lot of my family is, and just a lot of heartbreak. I mean, I felt their agony, last night. I was actually watching the game a little bit myself. So let me know what your weekend was. How was your weekend? What did you do? Did you do anything for fun? Were you working this weekend? But here's the thing. Excuse me. The more important thing is that I'm excited to have you here. I was want to refresh this just to make sure we're good to go. The more important thing is I'm excited to actually have you. Hi, good morning, Robert. How are you? Good to see you here. This topic today has been one that has been on my mind for the last probably 5 or 6 years. And did I talk about it in a podcast? I don't think I talked about it in a podcast yet. I know I haven't because I have a podcast series on this topic coming up. We're going to go really in depth. This topic right here. Here's the thing. I'm not expecting um, a ton of people to watch this one live. I'm expecting a lot more people to watch this one on the replay. And just because when you are thinking about making a move, when you're thinking about doing something different with your career, I get it. I get it. There are eyeballs everywhere. There are eyeballs everywhere. And I want to let you know that it is okay. I understand. I am here with you. This is why I do what I do, is to have these conversations that a lot of people don't have, but to more importantly, give you a solution for who you are and where you are as a senior retail leader as well. So before we move into that, I definitely want to make sure that you go ahead and check out our campus. It is our senior retail leader learning community where we are focused in on helping you understand more about who you are so that you can move to your best next. But more importantly, to provide resources, resources like none other that topics and conversations that you are not going to get at your company, that you're not going to get in any other community as well. So we have a couple of different events coming up. So we've done a soft launch. So we're going to be doing our heavy launch coming up in February, where we actually have a couple of different events scheduled there as well. And I also want to thank before I move forward, I do want to thank the amazing Michael LeBlanc. He is the host of the Voice of Retail. Had the opportunity to kind of start and kick off the year with him on his podcast, and it was such an amazing time. I had a great time talking about retail and leadership, and we also touched upon the approachability book, the book I'm writing, The Approachable Retail Leader as well. So we touched upon that. So make sure you go ahead and check out that episode as well. All right. So this topic here is one of those topics that is necessary for us to discuss. And I'm going to tell you right now. Not a lot of people are going to watch this, but I want you to watch it on the replay, and I want you to share it with your peers. I want you to, when you look at this, when you're looking at this live, or you're looking at this somewhere else, I want to make sure that you get everything from this topic and what we're going to be talking about as well. Let me make sure I got this set up as well too. Hold on for a second. I'm using this app on my phone, and I wanted to make sure it was good to go. There we go. All right. So this Make a Move series, we're going to break this down into 3 parts. So the first one, we're going to be talking about what is Make a Move. So that's today. Next week, we are going to be talking about Make a Move Up, and then how to make a move on and out. So when we talk about the conversation today, we are literally laying the foundation for what this is, for what Make a Move is, and how you need to think about it right now at this point in time in your career. And we're going to talk a little bit about some stats and what's going on in the retail marketplace, and also just in business in general, because different business disciplines impact you as a retail leader. And then Make a Move Up. What do you need to know? What is it that you need to learn in order for you to make a move up in your organization. This is the time of year to really get behind that, to really understand what that looks like for you. Because if you don't have a really good understanding of what that is, I'm telling you right now, you are going to be stuck, right? While other people are actually moving ahead of you or doing other things, and you're going to be stuck. So we're going to give you a plan for that. And then to make a move on and out, the tenets of those are the same. The underpinning aspects of make a move on or out is understanding your transferable skills. What current skills from a leadership standpoint, talent development, all those different things do you have that are transferable onto the next opportunity, right? Whether it's a lateral move or it's onto another organization or it's out of retail altogether. The goal and the focus is to try to help you understand what those transferable skills are. All right. So why? And this is heavily tied to, as we're going to be talking about, the performance review process. After this series, I actually have a series that I've already created on the performance review process. This is for leaders at all levels, senior vice president on down to district managers to even store leadership. Right, the performance review process is it's kind of like go season. It is that time of year where you figure out where you stand, understanding your score. We're going to talk about that here in a second, and then what do you need to do and utilize this time frame from a performance review standpoint for yourself and also for your team to really kind of define your leadership and what it is that you actually need to do next as a senior retail leader. All right, cool. Why should you care about this topic that I'm discussing today? Here's why. Everybody else is. Everybody else is. Everybody else is talking about making a move. This is the last point, and I'm going to emphasize this point probably throughout our conversation today. Everyone else is thinking about making a move. Look at the companies that are on this list and all the different things that they have done or that they are doing, right? Whether it's job layoffs, cost cutting, all these different things. This is that time of year where companies are thinking about making a move. These are aspects of making a move, right? These impact you. If you are working for one of these companies, these are impacting you. Your company is thinking about making a move. You need to be thinking about making a move. What is it? What is this idea of making a move? Good morning, Audra. I see you out there in the audience. Good morning. Good to see you over there in the UK. I appreciate you being here. What is making a move? What is this? What does it necessarily? What does it mean? It's a biannual, right? There could be a third one in there, but I want to say it's biannual. Biannual performance review time, which is why I talked about a little bit around a performance review process, and then the mid-year. And I'll talk about the mid-year here for a second. The mid-year one is utilized when it's utilized properly. It's utilized properly for Q4 prep, right? It's to make sure that you actually have the right team in place in order for you to have a successful Q4. A lot of times we see the movement take place in that mid-year time frame around August and September, and you know why? It's because school ends in over here in the States. It could end in May. Sometimes it can end in June. And typically you start to see a lot of movement, promotions, lateral moves, all these different things take place probably, during the summertime because guess what? Because school's out. Now it's a great time for you to actually transition your family, right? See it a lot. All these things I have seen happen. They have occurred to me. I have executed on a lot of these opportunities, whether it's at the very beginning from a performance review standpoint or from a mid-year standpoint. The performance review piece is probably the largest part of the Make a Move season. January through March is the heaviest time for whether it's for turnover or talent moves. So I'm gonna couple it, or I'm gonna label it as talent moves. You can have turnover, you can have promotions, you can have lateral moves, you can have staying where you are, but maybe with a different company. All those things are all under the heading of talent moves from January through March. But here's the other thing that happens. Here's the other thing that happens. The level, I got to find a stat for this one. I had it, but I should have put it on the screen. Is what I'm saying, is that it is the 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 time of year where the most money moves hands from a talent standpoint. Could you think about it in that context, right? When you have say you have you have promotions that are taking place, whether the promotion is 3%, 2%, whatever. I understand all of that, but you have a lot of movement. You have a lot of wealth being transferred, right? Say you had a banner year from a bonus standpoint. Now your bonus is, one and a half, maybe two times your salary. So now we're talking about, from instead of you just making 100 grand, now you have, 300 grand, plus, excuse me, 200 grand plus an extra 3 or 4% on top of the 100 grand that you're making. So there's a lot of money that is shifting and moving and changing hands at this time of year. And we have to understand that. You are at a crossroads right now, currently in your retail career. You're at a crossroads. You're thinking about what it is that I need to do, next. What does that look like? How do I define my best next? What is it the determinant for me to either make a move up, on, or out of the organization? That is what make a move season is, and it's happening right now. Whether it's happening to you, right? Unbeknownst to you, it's happening. It's happening, and it's occurring to you right now. Why should you care? Can I tell you, it is, and I don't say things lightly. I don't, say things for effect. I really don't. It has to be the most critical time in your leadership journey. It has to be. Listen to me. Developing talent, having critical conversations, having a big visit in your market, interviewing with the CEO, all those things become muscle memory over time. But you determining what your next move is critical. And here's why. So it's the next point, because you are thinking about your family, your finances, or your future. It is the most critical time. Nobody's going to tell you this. Nobody's going to, sit you down and say, this is the most critical time of the year. They're going to say, I just want you to get promoted. I want you to get this. I want you to do this. Or, hey, guess what? You're a 3. You're a meets expectation, and you're going to be staying right where you are. And you're thinking, man, I crushed it this year. I'm ready to make a move. I'm ready to do something different, right? This is the most critical time. How do you do that? How do you make a move up, on, or out of your organization? We're going to give you a little bit of a framework here that we use from our coaching standpoint. Everyone is thinking about making a move. I'm telling you, I'm just going to keep repeating this part. Everyone is thinking about making a move. Your boss is thinking about making a move. I don't care what level of relationship you have with that person. You've gone out for coffee, they like you, that whatever it is, they are thinking about making a move. Even if they had an amazing year. Even more so if they had an amazing year, because guess what? Now I can leverage that. Now I can leverage that. Now I can leverage this and make sure, hold on for a second. We have oh wow. Yeah, you know what? Now I can leverage that, and just making sure that we have let me see, I had an issue right here. I had an issue right here over here that I wanted to make sure I took care of. Okay, great. I think that's good. I think I'm good to go now. All right, good deal. And we I had an issue over here. I had one to take care of. So we have an issue right now where everyone is thinking about making a move, and you want to make sure that you are doing the same thing. You are thinking about where you currently are, as well. So just making sure about that as well. All right, cool. Let's do this. Once again, what are you feeling right now? So when you think about where you are right now in this stage in your career, in your journey, What are you feeling right now? You're feeling either uninformed, you're feeling uncertain, you're frustrated, right? You're feeling unheard. Um, right? There's lack of communication, maybe from that's coming from your boss, from your company, and you need direction, right? But the other thing is that you may be feeling good about where you are. You may be feeling good about where you are. You may be thinking that, hey, I'm actually in a pretty decent state. I'm actually in a pretty decent, position, Steve. I'm okay. I'm not really feeling. I'm not feeling really frustrated at all. You know. But here's the other thing that I see, and I've often seen a lot, is that a lot of people are worried about their score. Right? They're worried about their score. We're going to be talking more about that piece when we delve into the performance. To the performance review, standpoint and process as well. We're going to be talking more about that. Like last year, I was having a conversation with someone, and they were talking about their coworker was a 4 last year, and this year they were a 3. What does that look like? How do you actually deal with that process? What does that actually look like for you as well? All right, but here after our conversation today, here's what I'm hoping. Here's what I'm hoping is that you are informed, right? That ideally we just set a little bit of a foundation for where you are, right? You hopefully you're going to be feeling informed, right? You're going to feel hopeful, right? And then you're going to feel prepared as we continue to move forward down this process. The last part is that I want you to be able to kind of embrace your score with a plan, to embrace, where you are with a plan, because that's the next thing that you actually have to do is to understand where you are so that you can continue to move forward. All right. So there are 3 steps. There are 3 steps to this process. What time is it? I think I'm making pretty decent time. Oh yeah, I'm making pretty decent time. I got time. We're gonna rock these out. We're gonna rock these out. Decode, devise, and deploy. Here's the thing: is that this is part of our part of my make a move coaching framework, process that we use. And I know these words are like, really, they sound military. Well, that's because I am former military. So there we go. That's why they have this kind of phraseology, if you will, to them as well. So let's talk about the code, and we're gonna go through these because they are going to be setting the foundation for everything else we talk about in the next 2 into the next 2 weeks as well. All right. So let's talk about the decode. Let me make sure we got some. All right. Okay. We're good to go. The code process is all around clarity. It's all around clarity. It is all around clarity. What problems, what problem are you solving for? What problem are you solving for? You solving for your family, your finances, or your future? Right? You could be solving for all 3, understandably so. I get it. You could be solving for all 3, right? Where do you currently stand? Where do you stand right now within your organization? Where do you stand with yourself? Where do you stand with the idea of what it is that you actually want to do going forward? What's missing? What's missing? Skills, influence, action, all these different things. These are the things that you have to think about right now. When you start to think about decoding, the idea of what we do with our Make a Move Clarity Call is to actually make sure that we are dealing with this aspect of who you are first, which is this gaining clarity, for you as well. What problems are you solving for? What problems are you solving for? Because if you don't understand and try to identify that first, then guess what? You actually have to think differently about where you are, and you need some help with that. Anybody who knows me, they know that one of my favorite movies. Let me make sure over here that we're good to go as well too. I just want to check the comments over here. I think we are solid. I just want to, if anybody had a question, I'm sorry. Before I get into this last point. There we go. Wow, what's happening? Doesn't seem to be moving. Okay, there we go. What I wanted to make sure that we talked about is that anybody who knows me, one of my favorite movies is Goodwill Hunting. Goodwill Hunting, one of my favorite movies, probably top three. Has to be top three. And part of that is because of what they do, and what he talks about, in there in the actual movie as well. Matt Damon plays a person who's extremely talented. He has the ability to do whatever it is that he wants to do. He actually has the ability to communicate. Excuse me. He actually has the ability to solve problems, at a very, very, very high level. One of the biggest things that he is facing is his inability to understand and to deal with whatever it is that he wants to do next in life. That has to be one of the biggest things that he is struggling with. What do you want to do? So he is asked this question by Robin Williams, who turns out to be his counselor and psychologist. What do you want to do? And he couldn't give him an answer. Here is a person who is immensely intelligent. Like he's working at MIT as a janitor, but overnight he's solving these complex math equations, and where the professors are trying to come in. They're coming in the next day and they're really figuring out who actually did all of this. What is it that you want to do? I'm going to ask you that question. What is it that you want to do? Because the sooner you're able to kind of answer that and understand what it is that you want to do, guess what? Now things are going to look a lot differently for you as well. Okay? Let me just make sure I got the comments in here. Hey, Dorian, how are you doing? I appreciate you saying you are dropping some knowledge. I appreciate you. Daryl said, greetings. Good to see you there. Good to see you here as well. Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here. Let's continue to move forward as well. All right. So we talked about decoding. Now we are moving into this devise process. So when you look at the screen, you see the lines, and all the lines are actually all the different things that we have actually been able to decode, and they are moving in a central direction. They are moving in a direction that's moving forward, because we've been able to devise all the different aspects of and insights of who you are and what it is that you actually want to do. So we actually been able to do that. So the transformation process, to devise, is to actually start the transformation process. So where we are changing the insights into action, that's what we're actually doing. That's what we're doing. We're identifying and developing key competencies as well. So, excuse me, when you get clarity, you get clarity on what you don't know. You don't just get clarity on what you're really good at, but you get clarity on what you don't know. You get clarity on what it is that you actually want to do and to move forward as well. So you have to understand that aspect of this journey, is to, when you are trying to devise and transform, you are really identifying as well those things that you don't know, so that you can continue to move forward. So in this process, you need help. You need someone to actually help you with this plan, right? Here's why: because you're too close to it. You're too close to it. Dare I say, you're too close to your own career. You are. When you are in it and you are trying to be successful in your career, it's tough to think, forward objectively, right? It's tough to think to think about moving forward objectively and really asking yourself, what are the things that you really need? Because if you're able to do that, then guess what? Now you can actually move forward, strategically and tactically, so that you can continue to move forward. So you're too close to it. You're too close to it. That's why you need help. That's why you need help. So make sure that you connect with me so we can get some clarity for you as well. Clarity requires objectivity. Clarity requires objectivity. It just does. It requires your ability to be able to move past where you currently are, who you currently are, and to see yourself in a different perspective, in a different light. And that process you can't do in a vacuum. You can't do that process in a vacuum. You can't do it by yourself, right? I was talking to someone the other day, and I was jokingly, I'm just looking at the comments, make sure we're all sorted. I was jokingly telling them, I said, you know what? Um, I would love for you to do my push-ups and I get the benefit, right? I would love for you to do that. Like Robert, right? I need you to do, every night, I need you to do 50 push-ups and then I get the benefit of that. I can't, it's just not going to happen that way. It's just not going to happen that way. Certain things you just have to do it yourself. You just have to do it yourself. I'll give you an example. Um, from a gym standpoint, you know, I have discipline in other areas of my life, but for the gym, I just don't. And so, but I've actually gotten a lot better at it. But whenever I go to a gym, I don't want to think. I just want someone to tell me what to do, what weights to lift, what exercise to do, all this and all that, and I will rock it out for you 100%. When you're able to get clarity, you get clarity what it is that you need to do next, and you don't think about it. You just continue to move and you start to act. Right? It's not just about intention. It's about you start to act. When you work collectively with someone to get clarity, you start to move forward. All right. The last one that we're going to talk about today, I'm actually making a really good time, I feel. Uh, I'm quite sure, Cheryl will let me know if I'm not. Um, is to deploy. Is to deploy. Oh boy. When you are deploying something, this is when tough choices actually have to take place. Tough choices have to take place. It requires sacrifice. Change requires sacrifice. I know this sounds like a military advertisement, but it's 100% true. Change requires sacrifice. It requires tough decisions. You have to be realistic on where it is that you actually want to go. You have to be realistic in what it is that you want to do next. But here's the other thing. What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to quit? And then what are you willing to leave behind? When you're thinking about making a move, what I see, there's two things that I see. People are tethered to the company and or they are tethered to kind of their team. A lot of people they don't want to talk about that. Now, Steve, I'm ready to make a move. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to do that. I'm ready to do that. And then we get into a coaching session, and we hear something completely different, right? Oh my gosh, my team's gonna need me. My team's gonna miss me. Or there's this underpinning of like, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna move past this company that I've been working for 15, 20 years into doing something different? And here's the other word with that one that I want to talk about. It's credibility, right? You have built up so much credibility with this one company, and now you are talking about doing something completely different. Now you're talking about doing something in a completely different perspective and a different light. And you are worried about your credibility. You're worried about all the things that you have built up over time. And what does that look like for you kind of going forward? It's tough. It's a tough thing to think about and to really try to understand and make sure that you are doing what's necessary in order for you to move forward. So you have to have some tough choices. You have to be realistic. Goal setting, less is more, and then there's a continuous learning aspect of your journey that you have to make sure that you are addressing. Because if you are not addressing, filling in those gaps and realizing what are some of the things, that you are missing. Guess what? You are never going to continue to move forward. You're gonna stay where you are. And the title of this thing is called Make a Move, right? One second, sure. Oh my gosh! All right, there we go. Oh, hold on for a second. There we go. I just want to make sure. I was going into the comments and getting everything sorted. Cool. All right. No one. Hold on a second. No more comments. All right, good deal. So let's go ahead and when we start talking about deployment, I love this. I love this. I love this one. Right, and this you can jump. You can you can have all the best intentions, but when you deploy something, you actually have to implement it. You actually have to do it, right? And there isn't anything more uh, an aspect of doing something that requires for you to be scared and you to really, trust, and that is jumping out of a helicopter with a parachute. But one of the main things you got to do is action, 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 action beats intention all day long. It beats it all day long. So we have to make sure. You have to make sure that you are ready to make a move. And hopefully after this conversation today, you are ready. You have an idea of what it looks like and feels like to make a move. Why it's important, because everybody else is thinking about it. It's time for you to think about it. It's time for you to go ahead, connect with me. Make sure we have a link in the description where you can actually book a make a move clarity call. Share this with your peers. Share this with your peers, and also share what's coming up for the next 2 weeks as well with your peers as well. So we're excited about this process because next week we are going to be talking about how to make a move up in an organization, right? A lot of people want to know about this process, but here's the thing. I don't think a lot of people are ready, right? And I don't mean ready in the context of like you have to equip yourself with the process of getting ready, right? You may have skills, understanding, some knowledge, but if you don't bring them all together, right, into a package, then it's not going to happen. You also have to think about your track record. What are the different things that you've done throughout the course of your career? So that equips you and makes you ready for the next role. And then after that, of course, we're going to do on and out, as well for the following week as well. So I am excited and I appreciate you being here, for this make a move season. A lot of money's changing hands. A lot of opportunities are changing hands. A lot of situations are taking place. Where do you sit? Where do you stand in this process? What does that look like for you next? How are you going to continue to move forward? Right? The goal is to get clarity first because you have to understand where you are before you know where it is that you want to go. So we will see you next week as well. Make sure you connect with us, connect with me over here on LinkedIn. Check out the campus as well. We'd love to have you be a part of that. Connect with us and book your Make a Move clarity call. And we look forward to talking to you next week. Have a great day and God bless.